And we are live. Hello, everyone. I have my great friend here, Anthony. And before Anthony says a word, I want to show you this. Maybe you're familiar with this.
Amazing.
I do have
Amazing.
it. I do have it right next to my desk, right next to my computer, and I have also this guy who is. I just had to. I did a speech on him the other day, and I don't know if you know him. I did a post on him about this guy on Twitter. We can talk in a second, but these two definitely the map of consciousness. This will definitely be part of this conversation. But before we get into that, Anthony, why don't you introduce yourself and tell a little bit about your company, what do you do, where are you based, and how everything is going?
Absolutely, brother. Well, that is amazing. I love that you have that map. I got it right in front of me on my wall too, dude. I don't go anywhere without that. So that's amazing to see. But yeah, I'm Anthony Marsilio. I'm the founder, CEO of SalesSurfGrowth.com. We're a full service Amazon agency. All we do is Amazon right now. And it's full service for D2C brands, for existing Amazon brands. And basically, if you don't want to deal with Amazon, if you don't want to have to figure out all of the intricacies, the advertising, the catalog, the policy errors, the inventory management, Amazon warehouses, we deal with all of that. So started the company almost 2 years ago now, man. It was June of 2022. To keep a long story short, I personally got started selling on Amazon in 2020. Actually selling these things. I got this on my desk right here, but it's a little fidget toy. I've sold a lot of these fidget toys over the past 4 years. Still have this brand to this day. Spent some time at an Amazon aggregator, and then 2 years ago started the agency. So everything's going well. I know I said Amazon is all we do, but we're looking to expand that into different things. But as it stands today, man, like the past 2 years has really been focused on just doing Amazon. So that's me in a nutshell.
Just like Amazon says, from A to Z, you do everything around Amazon. And at what point did you come up with the idea of offering it as a service, since you were growing with your personal brand? The personal store that you had, or the store that you have there. Was it FBA, like fulfillment was basically handled by Amazon, or you were shipping it yourself? You just tapped into the marketplace?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So like, it's FBA, fully FBA. It's still FBA to this day. I fly inventory direct from China into Amazon warehouses, and it's more or less automated, Matt. But what happened, dude, is I launched these fidget toys in August of 2020. In day one, they were selling. I was like, wow, like someone actually bought the Amazon listing I created. Like, this is unbelievable, right? So I thought for the longest time, like the brand was going to be my entrepreneurial route. But the thing is, with fidget toys, there's not a lot of margin in it, right? Especially when selling through Amazon. It's like I was selling at $15. Amazon was taking like 5 or 6 or something like that all in. And I quickly learned that in order to like have that as my full time, I needed more money to live my life, right? But the thing about a brand, especially low margin, is like all of that money goes back into marketing, goes back into your next inventory order. So I quickly realized, dude, like it's called Daily Vibrations. You can go buy one right now. You know what I mean? It's still up, it still sells. There's just not much money in it. So from there, I learned the Amazon blueprint, and then I went and accepted a job at an Amazon aggregator. They were these really hot kind of companies 2-3 years ago. They were raising hundreds of millions of dollars to go and actually buy up Amazon brands. So at the time I had moved to Austin, Texas. This German company was starting an office in Austin, Texas. One of the co-founders, probably an intern or something, saw my profile, was like, hey, you're in Austin, you have Amazon experience, we're looking to hire people. I was like, this sounds amazing. So I went over there. The company is called Razor Group. And I spent 8 months over there running some pretty sizable Amazon brands. But then, Matt, I think that entrepreneurial like instinct kind of kicked in at that 6-7 month mark. And I was like, I've learned all of this Amazon stuff. I think there's a need in the marketplace. And I was just like, I'm going to go for it. You know, I saved up 6 months worth of expenses. I was like, I'm going to make this work. And probably 2 months in, we started actually getting customers and revenue. And that was 2 years ago.
Smart move. I've been playing a little bit on the platform, like Amazon platform, for one of our clients. And dude, definitely a blueprint at least is needed. It still looks so complicated, and there's so many moving parts, or so many parts you have to master. You know, like you got your keywords research, the listing, the editing that goes into the listing, plus the kind of like the branding that you want to have in place. And we actually, Claudia and I, our idea was to start the brand on Amazon before we would launch it on Shopify or anywhere else. But we didn't know that if you have a custom formula, it was like a nootropic supplement blend. If you have a custom formula, you have to get a trademark or at least start a trademark process. Mm-hmm. And I wish we knew you back then so we can ask you questions, because we wasted like 12 months of our time, plenty of money as well, and a lot of testing, and we end up dropping it. And we're like, nah, it's not going to work at all at this point. Maybe it was a wrong decision, but that got us back to like the agency space and the agency world. But who is like, your clients mostly are brands that are growing on Shopify, or they have different basically platforms, not Amazon, and they come to you because they want to launch on Amazon? Or do you work with brands that are like, you know what, we don't want to do anything Shopify, Amazon is great for us, we have our own whole brand on Amazon, I just want to do more of it and make it better? Who are your clients, and how are you helping them at this point in different scenarios?
For sure. Yeah. So I'd say the two main tiers of clients that we work with, Matt, are like the D2C brand that knows everything about Facebook ads, Google ads, social media, TikTok, virality. They have a great product, they have a great brand. They just don't know the whole ecosystem of Amazon. They're like, I know I buy everything on Amazon, I just don't know how to do it myself, right? So they'll hire us in that situation. We'll either launch them from scratch or help them manage the channel. And those are some of the best clients to work with, man, because they have all sorts of like external brand awareness levers through all of the different things I've mentioned. So there's a buzz around their brand off of Amazon. Yeah. A lot of the times what we see for those brands specifically, man, like customers may see an ad or see their social media and they just go straight to Amazon because they want to buy it with Prime. They want it tomorrow. You know what I mean? So that's one tier of client that we help with. And again, our offer is full service. It's everything, right? Like if you need a partner to literally manage the entirety of the channel, that's what we're going to offer. Now, additionally, we'll work with a brand that's already on Amazon that just needs help scaling up or managing it, right? Like maybe they have 20 listings or something, right? They've been selling for the past 6 years. They don't know much about advertising. They don't know about brand registry. They don't have A+ content, right? So like, they're very established and they know what's going on. They know Amazon works. They've been in the ecosystem for years, but maybe they didn't keep up with like the newer tools that are being introduced on a monthly basis, right? So those are a lot of the clients we work with as well. And what's interesting, Matt, is they come from different places. And this is something that I personally as founder, am like trying to optimize for, right? Because like we get clients in a bunch of different ways, but like we find that those social brands, like the D2C strong brands, like those founders are on social media, right? So like, that's where we got to be, right? Versus like Google, like we find Google, we get a lot of those existing Amazon brands, right? So who we work with are kind of those two main buckets are kind of our clients.
I do have a question I'm super curious about, and I was saving this question for 2 weeks since we started talking about the live.
Let's do it.
And the question is, how can brands fail on Amazon? I heard a story of a brand that was in the skincare beauty space. They were growing super fast, like years, maybe 2-3 years before we even were introduced to them. And it's not probably the one you might be thinking of. The price point was, to me, perfect for Amazon because it wasn't too expensive, nothing like crazy. Let's say products from $15 to $40 range in the skincare space. Great products and tons of reviews. And something happened. I don't know what happened. That's why I would ask you, what do you think could have happened that it went from doing multiple 7 figures a year on Amazon to doing like definitely less than 7 figures, way less, like let's say multiple 6 figures. I don't know the right figures, but I'm really curious what could have happened. Like, is it the competition? Is it like Amazon launching, their own products at cheaper rates, or like what could have happened? How can brands fail on Amazon?
So if a brand is already selling there, they're already successful. Like, why would they lose rank and not do as well year over year is kind of the question. Yes. That's a good question, man. I will just share from experience what I've seen. So if there's a brand, say they're doing, I don't know, $100,000 a year on Amazon, right? They're like, we're doing 10K a month or whatever. And then like The following year, they see 8,000 a month and then 6,000 a month. Generally, what we're seeing is brands are just not keeping up with Amazon. They're not spending enough on Amazon. They're being outspent by their competitors because really Amazon's algorithms, a lot of it is just like taking in sales velocities. It's like, okay, what product is selling the most in this category? We're going to rank them up search, right? We're going to get them on page 3, page 2, page 1. So a lot of the times, dude, we'll see if a brand is not advertising on Amazon, that BSR, their best sellers rank, is just going to decline. Or actually it's going to go up, which is a bad thing, right? You want to be as low as possible, because if you're number 1 in toys and games, like you are the best selling toy in that category in Amazon. So I think not keeping up with Amazon trends, I think not advertising enough on Amazon, like you will definitely lose rank, and especially because Amazon is pushing sellers to spend more and more these days, dude. It's literally one of their fastest growing business units. They want every seller to spend as much as possible. And that spend, when you convert on your advertisements on Amazon, it influences your organic rank too. So to answer the question directly, Matt, it could be many things, dude. Maybe they started getting a lot of bad ratings too. If they got 1-star reviews on their products, Amazon's algorithm does not like that. If they're not spending enough on Amazon, if they're being outspent by competitors. When you first asked the question, I was thinking about, when someone launches on Amazon, why would they not succeed? And the very first thing that came to mind is price. If you're launching into a category, and your landed cost of goods is more than the number 1 competitor on Amazon, it's a tough position to start in, man, especially with no reviews. But yeah, I guess that's what I'd say. A lot of different things, but that's kind of general thoughts.
Gotcha. Okay, that kind of answers the question. Could be one of these few reasons over there. I didn't know what happened. I don't know. They didn't share that. Obviously, it's very, very vulnerable space to open up about, especially with like a big drop like that. But I could only imagine, their competition definitely. There's a way to do research, and basically see what everyone else is moving. Right? I've seen a few tools back when we were planning our own brand on Amazon. You could look up the amount of orders they do. Probably you can find out more or less how much it costs them to create the product, and then depends on if they do FBA or not, what are the margins, basically.
That's right. It's a great point, because there's 2 like core tools on Amazon that you can see just about all of the data, like sales velocities, estimated monthly revenue, units sold, et cetera, et cetera. And they actually do have like Chrome extensions that you can run on any Amazon search or any Amazon listing. And the Helium 10 one specifically, I love, because on a listing, you can actually get an estimated profitability on that listing.
Helium 10.
Yeah. Helium 10 is fantastic, dude. Now we don't know like the cost of goods of these products and whatnot. But just about everything else, man, like from the FBA fee, the referral fee, the estimated storage fees, long-term storage fees, et cetera, et cetera. And it gives you like a little profit breakdown right on the listing, which is amazing. Now, what I would love to see, dude, is how much sellers are spending, because and I don't know if we can access that data anywhere, because if you could see how much a competitor is reasonably spending in a marketplace, especially if you are going to launch something, you're like, okay, this top competitor is spending 150 grand a month to be on page 1 of all these searches. Wow. Okay. We got to pony up a little bit here. Yeah. But I mean, we don't have access to that. Not that I'm aware of, at least.
What I've been seeing, because you mentioned German company in the past. I did met at one of the events here in Palm Springs recently, a few guys or company owners that were doing Amazon related stuff in Germany. But what I've been seeing all around Polish TV right now? Amazon ads on every freaking channel.
Really?
It seems like we had when I was living in Poland, like it was like 7-8 years ago, they start building these big warehouses, fully automated warehouses right across German border. So basically they can get everything at a cheaper rate, but utilize basically, renovate a little bit of the space around it, to make it, very accessible, easily accessible, but basically utilize Polish workers for much cheaper than it would be on the German side. But now, since we already have the infrastructure with warehouses all around, they launch, I don't know when, but they launch Amazon in Poland, and I see their ads everywhere. And it's one, if you want to work for Amazon, second, which didn't have a good reputation, to be honest. The first factories that were there. I had a few family members and that I spoken to that considered it, and it wasn't as beneficial as people might think. And on the other side, now I guess people are shifting. I mean, towards Amazon. What was very, 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 very popular in Poland, and I was surprised, was AliExpress. People were buying directly from AliExpress, and still are probably. Directly from AliExpress. I wasn't aware of that, and everyone in my family members like, where did you get this from? AliExpress. This AliExpress.
Wow.
Everyone's AliExpress. So I'm wondering how this will work now on Amazon, since a lot of people get products from like Alibaba, AliExpress. I assume, right?
100%, man. Alibaba for sure. For the individual seller, dude, that's like, I mean, with this fidget toy, that's where I got my supplier. You know what I mean? I'm sure the larger brands, maybe they have more legitimate ways of finding manufacturers, but yeah, that's an interesting one, man. I'm curious, Matt, what do you think? Because we focus solely on the US right now.
Yeah.
I'm very aware that the UK and Germany are like two pretty sizable Amazon markets too. But do you think Amazon at their scale, they just keep going like country to country to country to country to country? Like, is that their growth plan? I mean, at this level of scale, it almost has to be, right?
I would say so. I mean, they're tapping into so many different industries, from pharmacy, grocery to anything else. It's going to definitely, it's very convenient for people. So I don't see a reason why they wouldn't succeed in most of the countries. Now, I do have a little bit of personal story that we lived through, which was the main reason why my family had to leave Poland, when we joined the European Union, and they brought all the big stores we were in the wholesale and grocery business. My family was. So basically we had like warehouses, we had a bunch of stores, and then we were delivering to other local stores, and everything was like local. If you wanted to get meat, you'd go to a place where you can get only meat. If you wanted to get bread, you go to baker, right? And that was kind of like where I grew up. And all of a sudden, we had this huge outburst of positivity, happiness, celebration, because we joined European Union. And I know it brought a lot of good stuff, but also for me personally, and my family, these big stores that came from Germany and France, mostly German and French store, like huge, like Walmart type of stores, they basically killed 80% of the market with like the local stores, including us. And, that would made us leave. So now with Amazon coming into like countries where they will basically dominate and make it pretty hard to compete with, as you can imagine. So you will either have to join them and use it as a marketplace and sell there, find your edge, find something that makes you unique. But as an e-commerce giant, if they're going to do the same thing as they did in the United States with like pharmacy, grocery, and I don't know what else they do, like movies now, TV, movies, everything. It is like literally everything. It's going to be hard to compete, and just wondering, how this will affect existing businesses. That's the only thing that comes to mind. But I think that will be the natural way for them to move. I mean, at this point.
It's crazy, man, because like it's such a great system for the consumer. Like you can get anything tomorrow. Yeah. But 100% agree with you. Like it kills off all of like the small business that could compete, even as just like a marketplace or something like that, right? It's like, it almost doesn't make sense in a way. Especially, dude, they have unlimited dollars, like literally unlimited money to spend on whatever they want to spend on. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, definitely interesting to observe. We'll see what's going to happen. But one question still that I had regarding Amazon, if you could take us through the process, what steps and how fast this can happen. If you have an existing brand that is growing on Shopify, you want to start on Amazon, maybe they already have some sort of established, storefront or whatnot, but they didn't do much. They didn't put much attention, as you said, into like paid marketing on Amazon and optimizing their listings and things of that nature, or checking their pricing to make sure that they're set up appropriately so it makes sense for people to buy on Amazon and Prime and stuff like that. What's the process that they have to take, and how fast do you think they can launch on Amazon and start seeing success? I just assume it's not going to be the same day like with your with your product, but what are the steps and how fast how fast can they start selling on Amazon?
Yeah, man, it's a good question. So I think I'll share just based on my experience too, because I speak with a lot of brand owners on like a weekly basis. So there's a few things that go into, I'll approach like the launch angle of it first. But like if you have a trademark or a pending trademark, you're in business. If you have your barcode squared away, you're in business. If you already have brand registry, even better. If you already have a seller account, even better. Because getting your seller account set up and getting approved by Amazon brand registry are two barriers that we see with brands. Like it's so simple, man. Like sometimes it's done in like 3 days or 5 days or 7 days. Sometimes we have brands that like take 45 or 60 days to just get like a pending trademark or just get a barcode, right? Yeah. Now that, again, this speaks to just like the rules and the policies of selling on Amazon. Like you want to do it right. You know what I mean? When I launched this back in the day, I didn't have a trademark. I didn't have anything. I was just like, create a seller account, get inventory from China, create the listing, make sure my barcode was okay, and we launched. But I would say for brand owners, if they already have, I'll give you an example. We signed a brand this week. They already have a seller account. They're already enrolled in brand registry. They just don't want to deal with anything, inventory, listing, advertising, graphic, any of that, right? I told the brand owner, we'll be at revenue in 30 days. That's kind of the goal. Now, a SKU count is kind of very important as well, right? If they have 50, 80, 100 different products, that's a different story. This brand owner, he has 5. Right. So if you have 5 products, that's very manageable in terms of like getting everything up to speed in terms of your listing copy, your graphics, your A+ content, your brand store, your storefront, and actually creating the listings. Another variable to consider is if you're doing FBM versus FBA. So FBM, obviously fulfilled by merchant. Dude, you could just set your listings live as soon as they're done, right? Control your inventory in the back end and start fulfilling orders as needed. Now, of course, if you're selling on Amazon, you want to be FBA. That's why a lot of people are there. They want Prime. They want their stuff tomorrow or the next day or whatever. But again, there's a lot of variables. So that's another variable to consider is if you're going to be shipping your inventory to Amazon, it could take Amazon 7 days to receive your inventory. It could take Amazon 2 weeks, 3 weeks to receive your inventory. So that's something that you can't really account for, but definitely adds time to the process. Now, if a brand is setting everything up from scratch, dude, barcodes, trademark, seller account, brand registry, they got nothing. Yeah. I say we like to be at revenue between day 45 and 60. I think that's kind of reasonable, depending on how quick. Yeah, exactly. Depending on how quickly a brand owner can move, right? Like, dude, brand signs a contract, they speak with an IP attorney, they get their pending trademark within 2 weeks. Like, that's very manageable to get the revenue at day 60, you know? But yeah, in terms of timeline, that's generally what we're seeing. Gotcha. But I'll add one more thing, Matt. I'm sure you see it on your end too, dude. Like when you have clients that are very, like they work with you quickly, that makes a huge difference. Yeah. Other brand owners, they're just very slow. You know what I mean? They take their time and that's fine. But the brand owners that really, they're like on top of stuff, like on a daily basis, it moves the needle and you get work done way quicker. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's very important to vibrate at the same frequency and move at the same pace if you want to get the project done, especially if this is a priority. But is there any reason why a brand owner wouldn't go with like the fulfillment by Amazon and do fulfillment by merchant only? Yes, I would say main reasons are margin for sure. Like if your margins don't make sense, if Amazon's taking too big of a bite. But the crazy thing is, I'll be honest with you, Matt, in my opinion, no, like everyone that's on Amazon, like you want to be FBA, right? But a lot of brand owners, they have their own reasons as to why they don't do it. I would say that the biggest one is just margin. They say, listen, Anthony, like Amazon's taking 45%, 50% of our product, like whether it's their product packaging is way too big or they can't fit many units into a master carton when they're shipping to Amazon. So they're taking a larger bite out of that as well. Margin is usually the biggest reason. We've been working with a client for like 16 months. Love this brand owner. Amazing brand. They just don't have barcodes or master cartons, dude. So they're absolutely ripping on Amazon. They're crushing it D2C. I'm like, listen, you guys would probably be doing 25 to 40% more revenue on Amazon if you just got master cartons and like figured out the FBA process, right? Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say stubborn, but a lot of brands, sometimes they just don't have like the operational capacity to actually do FBA. You know what I mean? Because it is kind of a lift, dude, right? It's like you have to have a specific master carton size sending to Amazon. It can't be bigger than 50 pounds, 25 by 25 by 25. Can't have more than 150 units in it. So there are kind of these like rules you have to play in. So yeah, I guess staying FBM, everything's within your company. It's within, your ecosystem.
Gotcha. I do have a personal question for you regarding Amazon, though. Um, do you think there will be ever a way to communicate as a brand owner with the customers through Amazon, even through Amazon platform, like somehow adding value to your customers through Amazon, or do you think they will never allow this? Like give you access to the database there?
It's a great question, dude. I'll be honest with you, Matt. I am like slowly becoming more and more removed from like the granularity of like the newest tool, the newest report, these types of things that Amazon is releasing. Last I heard, man, they were going to start opening up email communication for brand owners that had a specific number of followers on their store. I could be misspeaking on this, dude, but I want to say they announced that like 2 years ago at Amazon Accelerate. Maybe it's in beta. I'm not sure. But in terms of like formally opening up like the gold mine that is like email marketing or SMS, stuff like this, I don't really know, man. I really don't know. Because at the end of the day, it is like Amazon views all of those customers as their customers. They're very protective over that data historically. But yeah, I can't say, man. I think they are starting to open up more and more, but I don't know.
Understood. It'll be interesting to see. I know a lot of products that we get, they have some sort of inserts, QR codes where you can, basically try to get a hold of the brand owner. But I was positively surprised. I ordered a product, something for my workouts, and I lost one part of it. And I was like, should I go to Amazon? Should I find the brand directly? And that's what I ended up doing. I found them somewhere on Instagram. They didn't have much following, so I was like, I'm probably never gonna hear from them because there's like no activity on their platform, on their profile. But surprisingly enough, I got a response within 24 hours. I just have to share them the order number on Amazon, everything through DM, and they sent me the product that I lost for free pretty much, and gave me one extra. It wasn't anything expensive, but it was great to see that, if you buy through Amazon, it's not always there's people behind it. And if they take care of the customers, I will definitely buy again from them next time I need something. It's because they went a step further, and they offered a good customer experience. I know that Amazon is super simple, straightforward with like returns and paying you back almost immediately when you say that product came damaged or something was missing or whatever. But getting it directly from the brand, I think that's a great sign to do it. And I think this is also a message for everyone who sells on Amazon. Like, still try to stay close as possible to your customers. Whether it's through inserts, QR codes, or whatever you put on your packaging. Make sure they can somehow communicate with you and ask you questions about the product and whatnot. Are you guys also doing that type of things? For example, if you have a product that requires some sort of how-to, do you direct the brand owner or someone from their end on their team to kind of like record a how-to video, put a QR code together, and design an insert into the packaging? Do you do this type of projects as well?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like if a brand wants to do that, we always advise, like there's no harm. Like you said, dude, you'll buy 5 Amazon packages and 4 of those is a product insert, right? Yeah. Whether it's a QR code or something, I think it's totally fair game. We say do it all day. In terms of like an actual how-to, man, I'll use an example. We're working with a brand that's selling like food intolerance tests. If you're familiar with those, like you take a test that tells you.
Viome. I did Viomes.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very similar, dude. I think with those brands specifically, it's just very, very important to have it clearly depicted on the listing, like what you're getting, right? Like we have videos on the list. I think we have 4 videos on that listing. It's just like a lot of it is how to. It's like this is the whole process, because especially with that brand, it's not as straightforward as just, buying a globe and getting your globe. It's like, okay, you're buying a product. You have to, I think it's hair. I want to say it's hair. You fill it out, you ship it to a place, you have your shipping label, then you get your results back. You have to like clearly demonstrate that to the brand or to the customer, in the listing, But yeah, I would just,
They sell it on Amazon?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really? Oh, I haven't seen this type of products on Amazon, because the one that I did with Viome is you also have to do a little bit more than hair, blood, and even more. I don't need to say it here, but everyone knows what
I get the gist.
You gotta let a little piece of yourself ship it to them, or mail it to them.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's interesting. I didn't see that type of products on Amazon. I mean, but
It's a large market, dude. There's a brand called, I want to say it's Everlywell or Five Strands. They do millions of dollars on Amazon. It's pretty remarkable.
Wow, yeah. The only feedback I get from because I'm into that type of things, everything like health wise, I'm testing mainly because I struggle with weak immune system for first 24, 25 years of my life. Constantly sick and pneumonia and whatnot. And I was just basically taking things into my own hands because none of the doctors could tell me anything preventative. Like in Germany, I've been to many hospitals, unfortunately, where they did very thorough tests. In Poland, since I was probably 2 years old, was the first time when I was in hospital. And they were constantly doing tests and whatnot. Then in America, start doing tests everywhere I could, and no one could tell me anything preventative. Only when I got sick, I went to the doctor, and they gave me antibiotics, and go and recover. That's pretty much it. So I started taking things to my own hands. So that's why I look into things like Viome and stuff like that, tests like this. And the only thing that my friends and everyone around me was questioning was like the validity of it. Like, is it actually
Right.
custom? Like when they give you like the results, is it actually custom to you, or is it just
Out of the pot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, you shouldn't eat this, you shouldn't eat that. And what's your take on that? Have you done tests like this before?
I haven't, man, but I will share with you, Matt. That is like some of the feedback we get is around that. It's like, okay, is this valid? Is this actually related directly to the sample that I shipped in? We get that feedback all the time, and I actually don't know the answer, to be honest. I would like to think that it's customized, but yeah, I don't know. In terms of me, man, I got Ancestry.com or 23andMe like 2 years ago as a gift. I haven't done it myself. It's been sitting in my bathroom, dude, for like 2 years now. But I'm interested in it for sure. And I like the idea that you brought up, Matt, of just like proactivity versus reactivity. It's like, if you can do all of these things, taking care of your body, sauna, ice bath, exercise, supplements, whatever it is, sunshine, water, a lot of that I feel like is going to prevent like this stuff that, you go to the doctor, you don't know what it is. If you're taking all the necessary steps to take care of yourself, you're not.
You do have to find something for yourself and keep searching. If you're in the same situation as I was, definitely keep searching. Don't give up on just one opinion or two opinions or even three opinions. That's definitely. I found a good doctor here that is much younger than most of the doctors, and I told her straight up everything. Like whenever we do like annual tests, like I don't want the bullshit tests that you do, like blood work with your glucose levels, and that's pretty much it. That's all they tell you. Like I can do it myself at home anytime. I want really thorough, deep tests. Like I want to find out everything, what's going on with your bloodstream, because blood will not lie to you. And started optimizing from there. So to your point, I think a lot of stuff like cold exposure, there's a lot of studies on that, hot exposure as well. Moving to California was a big step for me, even though in the desert is very unique because my allergies shot through the roof. Like there's years where I struggle with allergies because so much dust in the air and it's very, very dry. So that's what's unique. But on the other hand, just having that yellow thing shine on us every single day versus every summer only, pretty much, or in Poland or Germany where I grew up, like there's 6 or 7 months where you don't see sun much, pretty much none at all. Like it can happen that you will be in freaking dark period and everyone gets like depressed around you because there's no sun. So sun has a big impact, definitely. And food, everything we consume, that's you are what you eat. I strongly subscribe to that. Finding out what's working for your body, not subscribing to what everyone else is doing. That will be due. But the tests are also good to find out some intolerances. Like you can probably, I learned to listen to my body, and your body will be very, very quick, and it's free. You can ask your body anytime, eat something, and if you don't feel well, you will see the marks of like inflammation rather quickly. You're gonna get some upset stomach, all kinds of things, or you just don't feel well after food is energy. So if you eat and you don't feel well, something is wrong right there.
That's right.
But I wanted to, yeah, go ahead. Do you want to say something?
No, by all means, you got it.
No, I wanted to ask you about this map right here, because I know that you met a gentleman who is promoting it all around social media. He has a big podcast. Great guy. I haven't had pleasure meeting him in person. You did a run with him. What was it, like a morning run? What was it? Wasn't there an event that you went to?
Yeah, dude, I went to a retreat. It was Danny Miranda. It was his first retreat, dude, and it was unbelievably powerful in so many different ways. But that I'm looking at it right now. It's on my wall straight in front of me, dude. I got the same exact map. What that thing did for me, Matt, is it was the culmination of all of this different personal development I had been doing in my life for like half a decade. From like age 20 to now 26, I had read like all of the books behind me. Like I was following all of the right people, but I always felt like I was just continuously searching for more information, right? I was like, the next podcast is just going to give me the key that's going to unlock happiness and gratitude and business growth and relational growth and just general satisfaction in life. And when we did some exercises, dude, around that thing, just the map explained everything, dude. Like I went home and I had this newfound awareness around like everything in my life, in my relationship, in my business, in the gym, in my habits. Like all of those different energy levels just spoke to me on such a deep level. And I could see how my energy would oscillate throughout the day. Like unknowingly, I would bring minor anxiety into my business at all. Because I mean, dude, in business, you're either default dead or you're default alive, right? And as founder, you always have to be pushing the totem forward. You have to be working and growing and making sure that the lights stay on, et cetera, et cetera. But I realized that mindset was like really not serving me that much anymore, right? So again, that speaks to, I don't know what it is, energy level 100 or something, right? It's a very low vibrational frequency that I was operating from a lot of the time, unknowingly, right? Even though I like to think I'm a very energetic, like uplifting person. I came back to my life and like, that was just a small part of my life where I looked at, I was like, wow. I was like bringing this like daily minor subtle anxiety into a lot of this stuff, right? And yeah, man, I could yap about that thing for so long, but it was between Danny's retreat and just really diving into the map of consciousness and reading the book by David Hawkins called The Map of Consciousness Explained, dude. It was really profound.
Have you read any of any other of his books? So I think there's like 9 of them in the collection.
Yeah, dude, that was the first one. I bought Power versus Force like 7 months ago, but I don't think I was ready for it, dude. I just wasn't ready for it. I'm a firm believer, Matt. I'm sure you can attest to this, but you have to be open and receptive to certain information at different points in your life, you know?
Yeah, the good time will come. You know, I like, if you listen to the Founders podcast, he talks a lot about curiosity among founders. And I think that's the right thing as well. We gotta like be curious at this point to learn, be receptive, as you said, to this type of knowledge. And I think the right time will come. I started my David Hawkins journey with the book called Letting Go. It was a yellow book that I read on one of our trips to Europe. I think we were in Greece at this time. And this was something that was super hard on me, like being able to, and I'm still practicing and figuring out how to let go of certain things. I was way too attached to, an idea, to a concept, to a person, to a thought, to an emotion, like the low vibrational, like, grief, apathy, guilt, shame, fear, desire. Like I was so attached to them. And that book was a good read. And that's how I started exploring. And I didn't even know about the map of consciousness and its existence. And then someone recommended the map of consciousness, like the graph, not even the book. And I was like, oh, that sounds very interesting. And it's very true. Like that, the fact that, your pet, dog or cat will vibrate probably much higher frequency, no matter what's happening around than you. And it's affecting you, like you do it subconsciously. Like every time I'm feeling down, like, I want to be closer to our dog, like the chief wolf officer, because he's always happy. And, 99% of the time, he's always happy. He's always smiling, and whenever we go out, he's happy. He's ready for it, And there's definitely something to it, and I'm glad that people start talking about things like that. Especially people that have much greater reach, and he's becoming very popular among all the podcasters, and it's great to listen to him as well. So love that. And I wanted to finish on this guy's note, because I know I shared it with you before we jump on the live call here. This guy, this is the Unkillable Soldier. Have you heard about the Unkillable Soldier?
I don't think so.
Dude, gotta listen. I have a book on him. He co-wrote this book with Winston Churchill. And
Wow.
This guy was indeed an unkillable soldier. Went through 3 wars. He was shot down. His plane got shot down twice. He lost his hand, later arm, lost his eye. He got shot probably, I don't want to lie, but like 20, 30 times, something like that. And he happily lived into 60s, like 1960s. He was born like 1880 or 90. But I keep him here as a reminder. I did a speech on him. I'm part of like public speaking club, so I'm practicing there. And I did a speech on him because I found him fascinating. First time I heard on the Joe Rogan podcast, someone was talking about him, not Joe, but someone that was on the podcast, like the unkillable soldier. I mean, he's a great reminder to me that no matter what you're going through, like you can't even, like, don't even try to compare it to situations like this. And obviously, coming from Poland, I have a lot of like history. Every time family gets together, I hear a lot of stories where family had to relocate around like World War II because they were literally killing everyone in the village. So they moved to a different place, and it's like it's not so far away that things like this were happening. But this dude, like, he has a good mindset. Funny enough, I think Winston sent him somewhere to China after the World War II. And this guy was finishing the whole trip, diplomatic trip there. He was walking down the stairs and slipped, broke. I think, he had like a decent fall. He broke some of his like bones and whatnot. Like, he couldn't move for a long time. He was still happy. And he said that famously, quote, everyone quotes him, or whoever talks about this guy says that he actually enjoyed war. Crazy dude. So these two are always next to my.
This, Matt, you said it yourself, dude. One, that is ridiculous. Like, that there's a human being that lived that was like that. And when you brought it up, it did refresh something in my mind. I remember I did hear about that. It was Chris Williamson on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah.
That's right. He told this story, and he was like signing himself up for wars, even though he was all messed up. He like didn't have an eye. He was still trying to go back to war and stuff like this.
You know what he did? They removed the eye, and the doctor or the general told him to have a fake eye on, so the soldiers will not see that he's not seeing on that side. He took the eye and he got pissed. The story is that he went to the taxi or whatever, driving back home. This was in London. He took this fake eye and threw it out of the window, and he put the patch on.
Oh my
God! I don't freaking care. And he once the second or third time the plane got shot. He was in the ocean somewhere, and he didn't have his arm already. With one arm, one eye, shot, he was able to carry his comrade, like his friend or whatever who got shot, was in the plane with him, all the way to the coast where they got captured and later tortured. They were digging with their own hands I think like 70-foot tunnel to escape. They dig it in 6 or 7 months, escape, but they got captured again like 5 days later. And the war like came to an end, so that's when they got freed or something like that. It was like a crazy story, but that gives you like a perspective. There's this famous book, Man Searching for Meaning, I believe was Man Search for Meaning, that talks about the World War II. But I think this is a similar story, and this guy wrote a book called Happy Odyssey. Happy Odyssey. I think it's actually, speaking of Amazon, that can be our final touch on Amazon. Wrap up. It's actually available for free. So look it up as like the Kindle free version, Happy Odyssey. Incredible. And I look so much forward to that book, man. It's I hope it's packed with like details.
Matt, you know what it reminds me of? I'll never forget, because I had a similar takeaway as you. after reading Endurance by Alfred Lansing. Did you ever read that one or hear that one?
No.
So this is Ernest Shackleton. It's the dude that like went to Antarctica with a ship with a crew of like 37. They end up getting stuck out there. Dude, I forget the details of it.
Yeah.
I actually gave it to my girlfriend's dad. So I don't think I have it on this shelf right now, but he loved the book, dude.
Oh,
I'm not going to, yeah.
This book has 21,000 reviews on Amazon. 4.8 rating.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, hold on. I actually want to see it. I want to make sure. Yes, dude. Yes. Matt, I'm telling you, dude, in terms of like, just like a total perception shift. Like, I'm not going to ruin the book. I'm not going to ruin the story at all. But I came away from that book just thinking to myself, wow, like I just sit in front of this computer all day and like kind of type on my keyboard, and there's people like exploring Antarctica and going to war 7 times. You know what I mean? Like, it can be so much harder. It can be so much more difficult, and there's so much to be grateful for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Internet has made a lot of people super soft.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%, dude.
Yeah. With that, my man Anthony, thank you so much. Where can people find you? Do they have any questions related to Amazon, launching a brand on Amazon or scaling it up? I know you've worked with a ton of brand over the last years. So where can people reach out to you?
Yeah, dude. Twitter is the best place for sure. This Anthony Marsilio, Marsilio. We actually just refreshed our website yesterday too, man. So if anyone wants to check
it,
I
checked it 3 days ago, so I haven't seen a new website.
Yeah, so it's salesurfgrowth.com, SALESURF growth.com. And
awesome.
Yeah, there's still some bugs to fix on the site, but those two, I'd say just check out the site or hit me up on Twitter. That's it.
Sounds like a plan. It was a pleasure hosting you. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next live one day.
Matt, thank you, brother. I appreciate your time, man. As always. I'll see you, bro.